They say there's music that heals and music that destroys. But somewhere, hidden deep beneath the Vatican, in vaults where daylight has never reached, lies a melody that was never meant to be heard by human ears. It's called the Forbidden Melody. And according to those who've heard even a fragment of it, it changes something inside you, forever. For centuries, the Vatican Archives have been home to secrets too powerful or too dangerous for the world above. Ancient scrolls, banned scriptures, prophecies, and music. But this melody, is different. It isn't simply hidden, it's sealed, not because it's lost, but because it was found. The story begins in 1749, when Father Antonio Vescovi, a composer and archivist, claimed to have discovered a sequence of tones within a forgotten manuscript of Gregorian chants. Unlike any other chant of the time, its intervals didn't follow the usual sacred harmonies. They were mathematically perfect, but emotionally wrong. Vescovi called it Canticum Obscurum, the dark hymn. He believed it was written not for worship, but for communication. In his notes, later found sealed inside a brass tube, he wrote, "This is not a song of praise. It is a song of recognition. It calls to something that should not answer." Soon after, Vescovi vanished. His room was locked from the inside, no signs of struggle, only his robe folded neatly on the chair beside the manuscript. The Vatican officially denied his existence. His name was erased from all records, but the hymn remained. According to whispers among archivists, the melody was tested once more, in 1893, by a small choir of monks during a private midnight mass beneath St. Peter's Basilica. When they began to sing, witnesses said the air grew thick, as if the sound itself had weight. Candles dimmed. One monk began to weep uncontrollably, his voice breaking mid-note. Another collapsed, clutching his chest. And when the final note was reached, the silence that followed lasted too long. The choirmaster wrote only one line in his report. "We heard something sing back." From that day, the hymn was declared forbidden, locked in a lead-lined chest, sealed under papal order, marked only with the sigil non audiatur. Do not let it be heard. Still, rumors persisted. In 1972, a Jesuit linguist named Carlo Benedetti claimed to have found fragments of the hymn's notation, encoded within a microfilm catalog. He described it as a pattern of tones corresponding to frequencies beyond the human vocal range, almost like the composer intended it to resonate with something else entirely. He transcribed just the first 12 bars and played them through a synthesizer in a sound lab in Rome. Within seconds, every light in the room flickered, the recording device short-circuited, and the audio captured something strange. Beneath the chant, a second frequency appeared, low, guttural, almost like a voice breathing between the notes. That night, Benedetti called a colleague in panic, saying, "It's not music, it's a response." He was found 2 days later, unconscious, with severe hearing damage. The Vatican never commented. The lab was quietly shut down, but the fragment, now dubbed the Vatican tone, resurfaced decades later in the early internet age. Around 2004, an anonymous user posted what they claimed was a digital reconstruction of Canticum Obscurum. The file lasted online less than 24 hours before being deleted across every known server. Those who listened to it reported disturbing effects. One described feeling as if the room was breathing. Another said the sound made him remember things he had never lived. And one final user, whose account was later deleted, wrote, "I stopped the audio at 3 minutes, but the sound didn't stop." Skeptics, of course, say it's just myth, a mix of religious paranoia and digital creepypasta. But here's where it gets harder to explain. In 2015, during a restoration of the Sistine Chapel's acoustics, technicians found a frequency anomaly that appeared only at night, a low resonance near 19 Hz, the same range associated with infrasound, capable of inducing unease and hallucinations. No equipment produced it, no structure vibrated. It simply appeared once per night at 3:33 a.m. They called it the voice in the walls. Could it be the remnants of the same tones Father Vescovi discovered centuries earlier? Or is it something that the hymn itself awakened, now echoing faintly in the silence of the Vatican's stones? One modern composer, Elias Moreau, tried to reconstruct the melody in 2019 using digital fragments from old Vatican catalogs. He didn't publish the result. But a few months later, a file titled Melodia Obscura WAV appeared anonymously on a deep web archive of forbidden music. When spectral analysis was run on the audio, something impossible appeared. Embedded within the sound waves were patterns resembling ancient sigils, geometric symbols of summoning and silence. The frequencies formed shapes, and one, most hauntingly, spelled out in Latin, audiatur quod non debet. Let that which should not be heard, be heard. Those who have studied sacred acoustics often talk about the God frequency, 963 Hz, a tone believed to connect consciousness with the divine. But what if the forbidden melody works in reverse? What if it connects us to something else? Something that listens from below? In one secret Vatican letter dated 1956, declassified only recently, a cardinal writes, "The melody was never composed, it was received. The author merely transcribed what he heard in silence. That silence perhaps was never empty." No one knows where the sheet music is now. Some say it's buried within the Archivum Secretum's sealed vault, near the chamber of In Nomine Dei, a room so restricted that only 2 living people can enter. Others say it was destroyed under Pope Pius XI, its ashes mixed with holy oil to ensure it could never be performed again. But there's one last mystery. In 2022, during renovations in the Vatican Library, a worker found a single page behind a collapsed section of plaster. It bore no title, just faint musical notation written in red ink. At the bottom, a Latin phrase, "The song remembers the listener." Experts confirmed the ink contained traces of myrrh and human blood. And when the page was photographed, digital sensors malfunctioned, producing vertical lines that, when converted into audio spectrograms, revealed a faint sequence of tones identical to the 1972 recording. No one knows who wrote it. But that same week, in an interview with Vatican Radio, an anonymous archivist said, "There are sounds we were not meant to hear, because they do not come from us. They come for us." So maybe the forbidden melody isn't just a myth. Maybe it's a reminder that sound itself can be sacred, or profane. That somewhere between silence and song lies a threshold we were never meant to cross. And if you ever hear a note that seems to echo after the music stops, don't listen for too long, because some melodies don't end. They wait.